Hey everyone, it's Brett and Jessica, and we are back to talk to you about another great book we read.
Yes, we are. And
Yeah.
I actually know the title of the book this time.
Yay! We've got the book in front of us. Last time, every problem you could have, we had.
This is very true. This is very true, which I loved the little
Yeah.
blooper reel that you made was so funny.
Yeah, it's so funny. I almost cut it out because it took us like 4 takes to get the intro done. And it's so funny on this podcast. One thing I have learned, the intro is one of the hardest things for me. The intro and then the outro, like when I'm working our way out, for some reason, I always struggle with starting the podcast and ending the podcast. So so I it took us like 4 times to get that done the last time.
It did.
And I almost cut it out, but then I was like, okay, no, this is too fun to cut out for nobody to see.
Yeah,
so
we've got to...
if you can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at?
Oh yeah,
I mean, I laugh at everybody else. I may as well laugh at myself too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Life's too short to take yourself too seriously.
Yeah, it's
But no, when you made that the little clip of just our little goof ups, that was so funny. And I would have people like make comments to me like, "Oh my gosh, that was so hilarious."
Yeah. So if you guys want to see that, it's what was the book? Oh, it was Beyond the Desert Sands with Tracy Peterson. If you want to see our little blooper reel for that, check out that podcast episode. It's the very first thing on there. So it was cute.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, life happens.
Life happens. Unfortunately, it happens a lot for me.
We're not perfect, are we?
No, we're not. We don't even pretend, do we?
No.
What's the
point?
point?
No sense in that.
Yeah. So go ahead and tell them what book we read and the author's name.
Welcome to the Bookish Introverts Podcast. Join host Amazon bestselling author Brett Nelson and avid reader Melanie Dyer as they dive in to review books they've read, then chat with the amazing authors behind them. Quiet minds, big bookshelves. You don't want to miss it.
So the book is called The Master Craftsman by Kelli Stuart.
Oh, it was so good, guys.
It was really good and kind of a thick book. You kind of see how thick it is.
I had never heard of her before. I'd never read of any of her books. Last year, my friend Christine and I, we were in Tulsa, and we went into Mardell bookstore, and they had this huge bargain book section. And I got to say, the cover is not one that I would have picked up. I'm very susceptible to book covers. And so, honestly, if it weren't for the fact that this book had been cheap, I probably would not have picked up just based on the cover alone. It's kind of a yellowish looking cover for those of you that are listening. It's got a woman on the front. There's like an old fashioned, like historical, like it almost looks like a ghost town in the background, and it's a woman in a dress. It's not the most attractive cover that I've ever seen. So just based off that, I wouldn't have ever picked it up. But it was like $5, and so I picked it up. But man, I got to tell you, this was a phenomenal book.
It was really good.
Yeah, I've had it in the box out there for over a year.
Wow.
Because I was just like, every time I'd look at it, I'd be like, yeah, that just doesn't appeal to me.
Just the cover alone.
Yeah,
no,
just
I
the
get
cover
what you're
alone.
saying.
Yeah. So, but oh my goodness, guys, this was such a good book.
Like once I started it, I couldn't put it down. I kept wanting to go back to it, like because I want to know what happens next.
Yeah.
And like speaking of, like kind of having a lackluster cover. What they could have done, because they're talking about St. Petersburg and how like magnificent it is. Like, why didn't they do something that looked like St. Petersburg back in the early 1900s?
Exactly.
Because they're saying how beautiful the landscape is and everything.
Yeah, and
they
this
could have.
The
that
cover
looks
does not
almost like a
depict that.
factory or
well,
something.
Yeah, well, and the cover is very like it almost has a black and white look to it. Other than the woman, you can tell her dress is blue. So I don't know, maybe that's what it is. But yeah, the cover was just very. And I thought, well, maybe this was written several years ago, but this was written in like 2021 or something like that. Yeah. So this is not that old of a book. I feel like it was a huge, and I hate, again, we don't normally disparage, but I feel like they kind of hit a miss on the cover.
Yeah, missed the mark on the cover. But the book itself, really good.
So if you look it up, don't judge the book by cover. And it's sort of a fictional story about the life of Fabergé, we all have heard of the Fabergé eggs. I didn't realize Fabergé did jewelry and stuff. But
No, I think I did realize that. I think I recognized that name as in connection with jewelry.
Okay, see, in my mind, when I thought of Fabergé, the only thing I knew about Fabergé was the eggs.
And I don't think I really understood or knew the history of the eggs. I was like kind of learning as I was reading
Was this
about
the first time
eggs.
you've ever heard of the Fabergé eggs?
I think so. I don't know that I've heard of them. I don't know, maybe like in just maybe reading a history book or something, I may have came across it, but it's just not something that's stuck in my head.
Yeah, so the premise of the book is that Carl Fabergé, he's the one that started, and apparently it was very successful back in its early days. And, well, I mean, it still is, but Fabergé is still around. He was the jeweler to the emperor of Russia, of St. Petersburg. Mm-hmm. And he started creating these Fabergé eggs for the emperor's wife. The emperor would commission one every year to give to his wife. And they were very expensive. They were they were crafted out of jewels, of gold. Yeah, they were
diamonds.
Yes, they were very costly. They were very expensive.
Yeah.
And he created 52, and this is actually true. There were 52 eggs that were created for the emperor. Well, the premise of this book is that Carl Fabergé created a 53rd egg, but he never gave. Yes.
Yeah, a secret egg.
A secret egg that nobody, not even his people, knew about until the very end. And we'll get into it more because it is fascinating. So this is kind of a treasure hunt book, which I wasn't expecting. I didn't realize it was going to be a treasure hunt book. And I will say, I'm interested to hear what your thoughts on this are. The first, 50, 60 pages of the book were so boring. It was kind of a slog. Once we got into the treasure hunt part, it really picked up its pace.
Yeah,
what did you think about the beginning?
Yeah, I think it did take me a little bit. I don't know how many chapters in it kind of took me to kind of really, but again, once it hooked me, and I was it was the suspense of, oh my gosh, they're gonna go. Obviously it's fiction and a made-up story. Some of it seems unrealistic.
It does.
Who's just gonna pick up and go to Russia?
Right.
Not even days prior, wasn't even a thought in their head.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just all right, let's go.
You do have to let your reality slip a little bit in some places. But honestly, I don't have a problem with that. I will suspend belief for a good read. I have no problem with that. So anyway, take us into it. It's a dual timeline. Yeah. It starts in the current day timeline. Ava is the main character in the
present day timeline.
Yeah, and then it bounces back to 1917 and kind of moves forward. So again, I'm not the hugest fan of dual timelines. So I always find dual timelines very jarring. But I will say, in this book, when you read dual timelines, do you tend to find one part of the timeline that you really enjoy more than the other? Okay, see, that's why I don't enjoy dual timelines, because there's always one that I really enjoy.
You can't wait to get back to.
Yes, and to me, when you get out of that timeline that you're really enjoying and you go back to the, you're like, it feels very intrusive to the reading experience.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
I do.
And to me...
And you kind of want to just hurry through the one that you're not as interested in so you can get back to the one that you are interested in.
Yeah. Yeah. There are some books, I almost wish I had written this book. Do you know how I would have written it if it was me?
How?
I wouldn't have done it as a dual timeline. Okay. I would have written the entire historical fiction part, and then I would have written because
two different books.
Yes, I would have written it as two different books because I just don't like the intrusion of the bouncing
back and forth.
Yeah, and
timelines,
I really did. Once we got into the treasure hunt part of it, I was hooked.
Me too.
On the current timeline.
Yeah,
but I really found the historical section. That was my most favorite part of it. So,
I agree. I was the same. Yeah. It was a little bit laborious to get through, that early 1900 timeline. It did add, obviously, it adds to the story. I mean, it's important. The information you're getting from that timeline is important to the present timeline.
It is. And that's
it's
how
worth
it is
it because of
with
that.
dual timelines. Even though you get frustrated usually with one of the timelines because it's not your favorite,
Yeah.
it always ties together with
So you
the
need
other
the
timeline.
information you're getting
you
from both.
really do need it. But that's what I would have done. I think I would have written them as two separate books, and then I don't know if that would have. I don't know that most readers would have liked that, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't, I mean, the dual timelines don't bother me, I think, as much as they do you.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with it, but totally, I think we had the same reaction to it. Like, I preferred one over the other.
Yeah.
For sure. So it starts out as like a prologue in St. Petersburg, Russia, 1917. So we have Carl Fabergé. He is the Master Craftsman. He is the founder, I believe. I think his father kind of was a jewelry maker, had maybe like out of his home, had like a little shop or something that he would do. But Carl really took it and did something with it. He started
the House of Faberge.
The House of Fabergé. He did. So he's like the founding father of this House of Fabergé. He's the Master Craftsman. And so everybody that works for him really respects him.
Yeah.
I
will say, hold your thought on that. They make mention of the different Fabergé eggs. They give real good description of. Did you look them up as you?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I did because I wanted to see what they looked like. And like for the first few, I didn't make note of them, and I wish I had. So during the podcast, I'll just pop up different pictures of the different eggs, and then as we talk about them in the podcast, I'll flash them up at that time, so you guys can see what some of the eggs
get a visual
look like.
of what.
Yeah.
And honestly, the author did a really good job of explaining what they looked like, so you could get a visual in your head just by reading a description of what it looked like, much less seeing an actual picture of it.
Yeah, she did a very good job of explaining the eggs.
Yeah.
But for me, I just wanted to see the visual.
But that helps too. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't think to like Google it and look them up myself, but I did not. I just went with
probably because you
the
had
visual
never heard of them
description
before this book.
No, I honestly didn't have like former knowledge coming into it. I don't know that I'd ever heard of Fabergé eggs. If I had, it just didn't stick with me.
Yeah.
I mean,
they still make.
Have there been any
Fabergé
mention of them
eggs
in like movies and stuff, like modern culture, pop culture?
Probably
stuff?
not that I can remember. I mean, because they're very famous,
right?
And they still make Fabergé style eggs today.
Yeah. Okay. I've been under a rock, guys. Yeah, sorry. But no, I really enjoyed reading about them and learning about them in this book, because she really does give you a lot of information, just historical information, I believe, about the eggs and the origins of it all. So yes, he's very well respected. He has very high standards for his employees. Yes. Very high standards, which is why he became as well known as he became, because it was flawless. Like those eggs, there was not a flaw in them.
And most of the eggs were the size of a traditional egg, so it was meticulous.
Oh gosh,
it was meticulous craftsmanship.
Because it's not just the outer shell; it opens up, and there's a hidden surprise inside, and there can be something hidden within that.
Yeah,
where it's layers of things that
we're talking
you open
about
up, and there's something else
that
there.
are millimeters big inside the egg.
And so just I can't imagine how. And I think it did say, how long did it take to create one? Like weeks, months?
Yeah.
I mean, a long time. They spent tedious hours and hours.
Well,
and
they did it all by hand. There was one egg that was made out of quartz. They literally chiseled a big chunk of quartz. I mean, so lots of master craftsmanship went into them.
Right. And so this was just something that was very important in that day and time, and he made a business out of it. He made a living out of it. Yeah. And
the eggs were kind of his bread and butter at this time.
Well, yeah, definitely. So, so we kind of get this little okay, you're like, wait, what's going on? Okay, like trying to get my head in the right time frame.
This is why I
what
hate
they're
prologues,
talking about. Yeah,
because you don't know what's going on.
And because it's like it's the cover of night, there's like maybe protests going on outside. You can hear things going on outside, and he like quiet and hushed. And so this girl named Alma, and he's like, all right. And he has this little secret hidden compartment in the floorboard, and he gets it out, and there's like this box he pulls out, and, open it, and her eyes light up like, oh my gosh, that's, and you're like, what is it?
What is it? Yeah.
My first thought, because I didn't know about any of this.
And you don't learn what it is until the book progresses.
Yeah, but my first thought was because they did mention how there was like unrest, there was protesters or something going on outside. There's somebody, it felt like somebody's about to come and get him.
Yes.
And so I thought he was like going to get a gun out of there. That's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
But anyways,
yeah.
So it's just like, but it's this. We've come to find out it's an egg.
It's this 53rd egg.
Yeah,
yes.
And so he's like, "Here, take this." But they're not pretty. They're not upfront with what it is right then and there
because
in the prologue as you're reading it.
It's kind of controversial. We'll get into it as we get to the end.
Because you're not quite sure what it even is.
Yeah.
That he's giving to her and wants her to take it and
protect it,
hide it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a little confused, honestly, at first.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on?
Well, and at this point in the prologue, you really didn't know who he was. You didn't know who she was. You didn't know what was so important that it needed to be protected. You found all that out during the process of reading it.
Yes. So it's just like, what item is in the box that what is this? So yes, you're kind of like, what's going on? But so then it jumps to present day. So go ahead.
So we meet Ava and her mother. Ava is like a waitress. She's kind of struggling financially. They're not rich people. They're estranged from her father and from, what's Ava's mother's name? Is it Carol?
Carol.
They're estranged from their father. His name Nick. They've learned that he's dying. And her mother wants to go see him and talk to him one last time. Well, Ava wants nothing to do with her dad. She is over him. He's a treasure hunter, and for her whole life, he has placed the treasure hunt over his family.
Yep.
And so Ava really resents it. Mm-hmm. Carol, I think, resents it, but I don't think she has as much contempt as Ava does. Mm-hmm. Ava doesn't want to go see him, but she kind of goes along with it because it's important to her mom.
And Ava seems like the type that is kind of... she's young, like what is she? Early 20s, early to mid 20s, something like that. Mm-hmm. She doesn't seem like she has direction in life.
No, she doesn't.
She's just kind of doesn't know what she wants to do in life as far as a career. It talks about her working at being a waitress at a restaurant, a job that she doesn't even like.
She hates the job.
She's always late too, and her mom's like, "You didn't get fired again, did you?"
Yeah, and that's kind of how the story starts because she goes outside to go to work to this job she hates, and her car won't start.
And she's like, "Oh, I can't be late again."
Well, one of her neighbors, Zach, sort of has a little crush on her. She's not interested in him at all, in the least. Yeah. Well, so of course Zach wants to be the here I come to save the day.
Come to the rescue, offers her a ride.
Because he would do anything for her to show a little bit of, attention to him. And so he was like, hey, no, you don't want to be late for work. Why don't you let me take you? Well, she reluctantly lets him. And so, and Zach does take on a little bit more of a role later on in the book. So anyway, so that's kind of how I didn't really... It was important. This part of the story, it was important to kind of learn who all the players was. But I did, like, everything that I just told you, all of that took place in like 50, 60 pages. It was a little bit too slow for me.
Right, where they could have really gotten on with that.
Yeah.
A lot. I mean, they could have just established these things.
Yeah.
Within a few chapters, really. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. So now, we kind of have learned all that. And then it pivots back to St. Petersburg, Russia in 1904. You want to tell them about that?
Okay, so how do you pronounce that? Augusta?
I pronounce it Augusta.
Okay.
I'm not sure which is
some of these names I'm like, I don't know how to pronounce this.
Yeah.
So we'll say Augusta. So she is Carl's wife, has been a loyal wife to him for many years. I don't know if I'm getting ahead of myself, but we do find out that he's had a mistress.
Yes. Their relationship is a little bit strained.
It's strained at this point.
Because she knows that he has a mistress. I think she's an actress or a starlet or
The mistress
something.
is.
Yeah, the mistress is.
Yes.
Yes.
And he goes on like tours or something, and she goes with him. And so it's kind of one of those things where it's like Augusta. Is that how you're saying it? Okay.
I pronounced it Augusta, but Augusta could be right.
I don't know.
Pronounce
We'll see. However it comes out. That's what.
Yeah.
So Augusta knows about this. It's almost like he's not even trying to hide it that well.
Yeah.
But it's like, I guess back then you just stuck by your man. You didn't be like, I ain't going to be with you no more. You cheated on me and I'll go find somebody new. They have children together. It does talk about that. I think they have 4 sons. There was going to be 5. One of them passed away. I don't remember what happened there. Was he like in childhood at that point? Was it in labor or I just don't remember.
I don't remember exactly, but yeah, he died early in life.
And so that really affected their relationship.
It did.
I think they had a good relationship up to that point,
and that's
that
common.
really it was a turning point.
To lose a child can be a very huge strain on a relationship.
Major strain. And it was for them. Didn't know quite how to process all of it and still stay intact as in a strong, healthy relationship with one another. So he goes on, I don't know, I feel like I'm not saying the right word, but a tour of some kind, or what's the right word? He would go on these trips. I don't know. I don't know what you would call it, but he would go on, maybe we'll just call it a business trip.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Trip, yeah.
Go on this business trip, and she was somebody that would go with him. And again, I'm like fuzzy on the details as to why would she be traveling with him to begin with.
I have an idea.
Okay.
No, this is just my thought. The book did not say this. It was in the 1900s, early 1900s. Mm-hmm. At this point, he was very wealthy for someone at that time.
Yes.
Part of me wonders if she didn't stay with him just for the wealth, because they were comfortable. They were financially secure.
Oh, definitely. As far as Augusta.
Because this was a time when women, it was unusual for women to work outside of the home, for them to make their own money.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, so that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah.
She had a guy that had money, and she was not going to lose that.
Here's my perspective on it. She's like, I've put too much blood, sweat, and tears into this family and also this business. They were working side by side.
She was not just a passive player.
In the conception and the beginnings of this business, this House of Fabergé. She's put just as much blood, sweat, and tears into the business as he has. Not to mention their family, raising their kids, and this is a family fortune, a family business. So she's like, I'm not giving that. This is just as much mine as it is yours.
That's true. I didn't think of it that way, but you're right. Yeah. She had as much of a stake in it as he did.
Because had she tried to leave him, she tried to walk away, she would have walked away with nothing.
Yeah.
I don't think she would have financially, she wouldn't have gotten anything.
And I'll be honest, I would be like, I'm not going to walk away and let that hoochie get everything that I worked for. That's kind of how I would think about it.
And again, like you said, you have a point too, as far as it's not like women had jobs and professions back then. Now, with the exception of Alma, she was she became a master craftsman in the House of Fabergé, which was a big deal for a female to be a master craftsman in a man's world, so to speak. I would
be interested to know. I wish I had looked this up. I would be interested to know, did Carl Fabergé and his wife have marital problems? Did he historically have a relationship?
I didn't look it up, but I almost assumed that it had to be true, or otherwise it probably wouldn't be in there.
Yeah, otherwise it would be disparaging to his legacy. So I feel like there had to have been some.
I don't think an author would just make something like that up if it wasn't historically true.
Yeah, no, there are some things you can make up, some small details, but this is a huge detail to just make up.
To have a mistress.
Yeah, and
we would have to Google it, but I bet you it's true.
I'm assuming Alma Pill was also a real person.
Okay. Pill. I was like, how do you pronounce this last name? And I was like, is it Pill? Is it Pile? Is it File?
It's Pihl. I pronounced it Pill, but who knows?
That sounds good to me. I kept going back and forth in my mind as to how it was pronounced. And because when they reference her in the book, they reference her as Alma Pill. Alma Pill. It's like the first and last name every single time.
Yeah.
It's not just her first name.
Okay, based on historical records, there is no evidence that Carl Fabergé ever had an affair. He married Augusta Julia Jacobs in 1872, and they remained married until his death in 1920, having 4 sons.
Okay.
The couple had 5 sons. Nikolai died in infancy, which is covered in the book.
Yeah.
The Fabergé family lived in a 15-room apartment that was attached to his workshop in St. Petersburg. So according to this, there's no historical evidence that he had an affair.
So I don't know. Maybe there was rumors of it and she just ran with the rumors.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know.
I almost feel like if there was no validity to this, the Fabergé family would have room to bring suit.
Right. Because why would you maybe put yourself in that position? As far as the author of this book, why would you put yourself
now,
in a position
maybe
where
since this happened so far in the past, maybe I don't know. Okay, and according to this, Alma Peel did exist. She was a renowned Finnish-Russian jewelry designer for Fabergé, notable as one of the few women designing for the firm. She designed the famous 1913 Winter Egg and the 1914 Mosaic Egg. She started as a draftsman for her uncle in 1909 before becoming a full-time designer. I'll flash a picture of her on the screen. So I figured she was, but she was a real.
So there's a lot of
historical
facts in here, which I appreciate. And obviously you have to take some liberties to just make a story.
And I'm totally fine
to
with
write
it.
a book about it.
Yeah.
And to have some storyline there.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so it does talk, but in the book, it's depicted that he definitely had a mistress and there was a strained relationship between him and his wife. So,
yes.
So we'll leave it at that. Let's see. So it's just talking about how she's going around the showroom. Obviously, it's almost like the people that work for them are like family members to them. They're very close with all of their employees that work in the business there. And again, it depicts it that they are living like it's like one big building, and they live. Was it upstairs, downstairs, wherever it was? But they live in the same building as the workshop is. So let's see, where are we at now?
So we've already said Carl is a royal jeweler to the imperial family, which requires him to travel a lot. He passes off Amelia, the Austrian actress. He passes her off as a traveling partner. Augusta never fell for that, apparently. His wife informs him that the Tsar has had a baby boy, and who will become an heir to the throne. And so Carl goes back in his mind to the time that he designed the first original hen egg, the Fabergé egg for the imperial family, created in 1885. And the family liked it so much that they commissioned him to make a different egg every year.
Yep.
So the very first egg was a solid gold egg covered in white enamel that opened to a solid gold yolk. Embedded within the yolk was a small golden hen, and inside the hen was a mini replica of the imperial crown that also became a ruby pendant, could be worn as a pendant. So that was the very first Fabergé egg. I can't remember what it was called, but I'll post a picture of it online. He reminisces about the first egg he created.
Was it called the hen egg?
It may have been called the hen egg.
And can you imagine talking about something, it's already pretty small as a whole, but then it's like it opens up and there's something smaller. That opens up and there's something smaller. There's opens up and there's something. Yeah. It's like, I just can't imagine spending that kind of time and effort. Yeah, just meticulously working on something that small. And they didn't have modern technology back then. Like they literally did everything by hand. Yeah,
and
I'm sure just amazing.
I'm
really.
sure there are people today that still create stuff like that by hand, but it's kind of rare in these days. If you guys are listening throughout this episode, for the people that are watching on YouTube, I'm going to flash different images up of. So if you're interested in seeing that, I highly recommend you guys go back and watch the video on YouTube if you want to see all this.
Yeah, I want to go see it because I didn't really do any kind of Google searching
researches or
look for for anything online. I just read the book and enjoyed it, but yeah, getting that little bit of extra information and knowledge, and also just seeing pictures of it, I think would be really cool too.
Yeah, for sure.
So, okay, so we go back to present day. Ava and her mom go to visit her dad. Again, he has cancer, I believe, on his deathbed. He's staying with his sister, Sylvie. Sylvie, she seems like a firecracker, doesn't she?
Yeah, and she and Carol do not get along.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's more on the sisters.
On Sylvie's side.
Yeah, it's more on her side that Carol does try to at least...
Yeah. Try to be civil with her.
Yes.
Try to get along with her. I think Carol talks to Ava, I think, on the way there, and is kind of... She's like, well, what happened? And why don't you and Sylvie get along? Why hasn't Sylvie been part of my life? Which would be her aunt. Yeah. And it's like, she never really liked me to begin with. She thought Nick could do better than me. Kind of. That was kind of situation where Sylvie had high standards. And that was her little brother. And she kind of was like a mother hen to him in a way, even though she's his sister. But I think she took care of him and things, and mother henned him. And she just thought he deserved better than the likes of Carol, which I don't know what she had against Carol. I mean, she seems like a really nice lady.
I don't know that it ever said, other than maybe
she was poor. Maybe
part of me wondered. And part of me wonders if maybe she didn't like them. Yeah, maybe it was because they weren't financially secure, and maybe they really resented Nick for basically abandoning them. And so part of me wonders if maybe, what was the sister's name again?
Sylvie.
Part of me wonders if she was mad at them because they were mad at him. I don't
know, because I mean, how could she blame them? He totally abandoned both of them. Like Ava was what, 2 years old?
Yeah.
And was the last time she really ever saw him. I mean, I think there was maybe 1 or 2 encounters over the years, but that was like it. And he was just not existent in her life for the majority of her life. Just totally was like, I can't do this marriage thing. I can't do this dad thing, this parenting thing. I got to go be a free spirit. I got to go do this treasure hunting, which to me is, I don't have respect for him.
No.
Because of that, because sorry.
That's a very disrespectful thing to do. Like there's nothing to be revered.
To me, that's no, not at all. And you're not,
integrity.
Yeah. It's like if you were, to me, you're not even like a man.
Yeah.
Because,
but unfortunately, a lot of very successful men, they are like that. Even today, they will put their career over their family. And I guess I've never been put in a situation where I make millions of dollars. So like, I'm not that dedicated to my job. I do my job and I do it well, but I'm not going to put my job over anything because I don't get that much from it.
Well, exactly. So again, it's like, and he does have regrets or whatever. We find out like later on that he wished that he would have done right by them, but he didn't. But that's the thing, you didn't though. Yeah. Like you chose this kind of free bird lifestyle over your wife and daughter, and you chose to stay away. At any point in this 20 some odd years, you could have tried to reconnect with them. And I can imagine it would be hard after time goes by, and it's obvious that they probably are a little bit bitter towards you or resentful or whatever because you did them wrong. You totally abandoned them and just left them to just... And here's the even more frustrating thing. He was very wealthy. Because of all his treasure hunting, he was very wealthy. He never once sent them a dime.
No.
Didn't try to support her financially at all.
Yes, and here's
frustrating.
Here's one thing about Nick. He was successful. He had a lot of money. I don't know if he got paid through grants. I can't remember. But one thing that he did, the things that he finds, he doesn't really do it for...
Not for his own wealth,
monetary
per
rewards.
se.
He usually does it to get it back to the original owner. So that is one thing about him that is a little bit of integrity. So I'm not sure where he got his money.
I mean, they did try to mention that, and probably to try to paint him in a little bit of a better light, that he wasn't just totally selfish or whatever. But still, we know that he was wealthy because he is funding this trip that we're about to talk about. But he's funding this whole trip, and it's like, you knew you had a daughter this whole time. Why didn't you send them money? Why didn't you have like a college fund for her? Why didn't you? Yeah. Because it talks about Ava and her mom struggled financially through her whole life. Her mom had to work 2 jobs just to try to make ends meet. It talked about
was
that
a
in
jerk.
the book.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you weren't going to be in their life, like an active part of either one of their lives, the very least you could have done is tried to help fund their life a little bit.
Make their life easier with monetary contributions.
Because that's his responsibility as her biological father, like child support. That's a thing. Like, why didn't the mom, like, take him to court and try to get some child support at the very least? Because I do not, in reading this book, not once do I get the impression that he ever sent them money or tried to help them out financially. Not once.
No, yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. And even, like, Carol, she's not that bitter towards him, honestly. And it seemed like they still had, like, an amicable relationship with one another. It wasn't like, we hate each other, we can't be in the same room as each other. It wasn't that at all.
No,
Like, they didn't
Ava
hate each
was
other.
that way. Ava didn't even want to hear his name.
Right, and understandably so. So I just don't understand. Like, okay, go live go be free bird.
Yeah.
But at the very least, because he was wealthy, because of all of this, like, why weren't you at least trying to help them out financially? Like, that's your responsibility because you fathered that child.
Yeah. That would have been the responsible thing to do.
Don't understand that. So I don't have a very high opinion of Nick. That's for dang sure.
Now, I don't know if it was at this point in the story. We do learn at some point that Ava actually has sort of a desire to be sort of an adventurer. I don't know that she necessarily... Do we learn this?
Well, I
when
think...
her dad brings up...
Yeah.
Is that when
I think it even mentions... It does try to depict her as kind of a free spirit herself, where she doesn't really know, she's restless in life. She doesn't want to be tied down to some boring job.
She knows she does not want to be a waitress.
Right. And she hasn't committed to anything. Now, she did go to college, and that's kind of important because she decided she wanted to major in history or minor in history or whatever it was. And so she has all this knowledge about history, which comes in handy.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? But of course, like, well, how fortuitous that she took all these history classes in college and she's about to go on this.
Yeah, that was one of those things that was a little bit too easy.
Treasure hunt thing.
Yeah.
Right. And she didn't know why she picked that. She just picked that because it interested her. And it mentions that quite a bit throughout the book because she knows these facts about history and she,
Again, it didn't bother me as I was reading it, but it did come across as a little bit too easy.
Yeah, it's like, that's too convenient, isn't it? Yeah, so it is what it is. So they do kind of describe her as kind of a restless, free spirit that doesn't really know, like, what she wants to do in life. And so when they go to see Nick, he starts talking to him, and she knew he was a treasure hunter, so she did know this much, and she kind of had been following his travels and things because it might be in the newspaper or online.
Yeah, he is a known,
he's kind of well known
treasure hunter,
right? And so she's kind of followed on social media or whatever, on the news, followed kind of his travels, his exploits, whatever, and his treasure hunting and things. So she has kind of, it's piqued her interest, and she's like, I wonder if I'm taking that adventurous spirit. I wonder if I took that from him. I wonder if that's like a trait I got from him. And so it's kind of rattled in her head a little bit. And then when they go to visit him, it's like he mentions this missing Fabergé egg. So it's like, hey, kiddo, haven't seen you in 18 years, but you want to go find this egg for me?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. And of course she's like, sure.
No, right? I mean, it's just, it's a little much at times.
Yeah, sure. I've always wanted to do something. And I know she was in school, but once she got out of school, why couldn't have Dad... And at this point, it was probably, at this point, she didn't want anything to do with it. But that would have been a great way to sort of bond with your daughter, was to bring her into your excursions.
And he could have, before he got sick. He chose not to. He chose to stay out of her life. I think at one point it does.
But would she have went? Because she was very resentful of him by this time.
Right.
Yeah.
And at one point he's like, I wanted to be part of your life. And I felt like it was too late. And maybe it was.
It probably was.
Yeah. So... he didn't really know how to get back into something he willingly took himself out of. And
you could always try and see what happens.
Yeah, you could have tried, though. You could have made an effort. But anyways, he made a lot of mistakes, obviously, and chose this life of adventure over his wife and kid, and that's very unfortunate. And yeah, there's nothing to respect about that at all. So, okay, so we go back to 19 something.
Now, I will say he's searching for this egg. 52 eggs were created from 1884 to 1916. And to this day, only 41 of them are accounted for. But he needs to find this 53rd egg. So this is the excursion that Ava and all them are about to go on. Yeah.
And like you said, I feel like they were really trying to do the dual timeline thing to where they wanted us to be invested in the lives of Carl and Augusta,
and it makes
of Alma
sense.
And things where it's kind of like I cared less about them and giving us kind of backstory about them. And, I wanted to kind of get back to the present day timeline, but so it is what it is. And I feel like I don't have a whole lot to say though about that timeline though. It's like, it just always goes back to...
all of the action happens in the current day.
Yeah, there's just not like a lot to talk about if you want to try to go back and forth as far as us discussing this early 1900 timeline. There's just not a whole lot to say.
Yeah, there's really not. It was very sedate in the historical. But I did enjoy it just for learning.
Yeah.
All that different stuff. But yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But you have to really give it a chance. If you get into it and you don't like it right away, stick with it. It does get better once you get past the first 50 or 60 pages, I think.
Oh, yeah. 100%. 100%. I don't even think it took me that long to kind of get into it myself. But so, again, it's like, we can keep trying to go back to that 1900 timeline.
We can skip over the stuff that doesn't really matter. As I'm making notes, I don't always know in the time that I'm reading what's important and it's not. So I kind of make note of stuff. But then once you kind of get all the way through the book, you start realizing what was important and what really wasn't. So we can skip over anything that's not important to pick out.
Yes. Okay.
So we get to the point where Ava, they've agreed with Nick. They are going to go on this excursion. They are going to try to find this 53rd egg. So Mom, Carol, and Ava are packing.
Yeah, because Carol's going to go too, which is kind of surprising. I was like, oh. She's like, you're not going to leave me behind.
Yeah. And really, Carol played a negligible role in this.
Yeah.
Like, she does pop up here and there, but she really
didn't even need to be there.
She really didn't need to be there, and I'm not even sure why she did. They do.
It was kind of odd, honestly,
that
she wanted to go, and that was in like. It really wasn't necessary that she go because she had to take a leave of absence from work. That was like another thing. It was like because Ava. Didn't matter. She's about to lose her job anyways. The girl's going to get fired for being late all the time.
Exactly.
She didn't care about that job.
She didn't care about that job. Part of it could have been, though, Nick did tell them there are some dangerous men that are also looking for this egg, so you're not the only one looking for it, so you need to be very careful. So part of me wonders if it was the mother hen part of Carol, that if this is dangerous, I need to go with her.
I want to go and
because can you imagine being in the United States, your daughter being in Russia on this dangerous? She would be horrified not knowing.
Yeah. I'm sure that's probably was Carol's motivation. That she just wanted to go and help if she could, but also just make sure that her daughter's going to be safe.
And if anything happens to her, she wants to be able to get to her quickly rather than trying to
be all the way across the
ocean. That's my rationale behind why she did it. So anyway, they're packing up, about to head out. They recruit Zach. Zach is an IT guy. Yeah, so Ava kind of remembers him. And so she kind of talks to him. She's like, hey, we've got this. It's not going to pay a lot of money, but it's going to give you a wealth of life experience.
Right. Well, it ain't going to take much convincing to get Zach to go on a trip with Ava, who he's like basically in love with.
Yeah.
So he's like, yes, please.
Yeah. He gives up his very well-paying, lucrative job to go out to Russia with this woman who's never given him the time of day.
I know, right? Like the whole thing is just kind of like, what? Yeah. That just doesn't happen in real life, people.
No.
But that's okay. But it's a book. It's not real life, so that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And so basically, Zach is there to be a hacker. Once he gets there, he's supposed to hack into all of these. Because at this point in history, I guess right after all this happened, Fabergé kind of
Well, there was like the
it
revolution.
closed.
There was the revolution. So he became kind of like an enemy to the commoner.
Yeah.
Because he was very connected to the imperial family.
Mm-hmm.
And so the commoners of that day they were rising up in revolution because the Tsar was a horrible leader.
Yeah.
And had treated them poorly, like the people were starving.
And
it was
Carl
just,
was guilty by association, kind of.
Yep.
Because
he was connected with the imperial family. Obviously, they commissioned him to make these eggs once a year, twice a year, whatever it was.
And he made bank off of these eggs.
Oh, yeah. So, and that's the thing. St. Petersburg was this lavish lifestyle. They built this place for the elite.
Yes.
And so it's almost like you go on a cruise like to Mexico, and they made this like at the port they made this wonderful beautiful thing, and then you go like literally you go a mile outside of it, and it's
a garbage bag.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like the common people that live there are living like
Poverty.
Poverty.
When we went on our cruise, we went to Jamaica, and they told us before we got off the boat, they're like, unless you're going on an excursion through the cruise line, do not leave the port. Yeah, they said do not go out into Jamaica because you may never be found again.
That's scary, y'all.
Yeah, and they do have this beautiful port there.
Yeah.
Where they have shops, restaurants.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, anything
nice.
you could want is there. And Christina was like, "Well, do we want to go out and find a nice beach?" I was like, "Do you want to die?"
I choose life.
Exactly, I choose life.
We'll stay here.
Yeah,
but it's kind of.
And she was
sad.
like, "Yeah, I was hoping you'd say that."
It's kind of sad at the same time because it's like, these rich people come in and build this nice little port, but then a mile out from it, it's like just poverty-stricken.
Yeah, they're literally
down.
living in shacks.
And I'm just like, it makes you feel guilty as a fat American.
Yeah,
living, a pretty good life here in America.
Even the poorest of us is doing a lot better than a lot of their people.
And it's just like, my gosh, it makes you look
eye-opening.
at your own humanity.
It does, yeah. And when you go down the port, they literally have like these people just line the port that you walk from the boat
they're trying to sell you stuff,
and they try to sell you stuff, and it's just when you know the story behind it, it's kind of heartbreaking because they're living in such abject poverty.
And here we paid a couple $1,000s to go on this cruise or something,
and in the grand scheme, you and I
eat until you throw up almost, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like it's very lavish, and I don't. We haven't been able to afford to go on a cruise in a while, so I'm living poor again.
Yeah. Well, and like you and I, in the grand scheme, we're not wealthy.
No,
even
we're
though
not.
we can save up and go on a cruise if we want to.
Yeah.
But even as non-wealthy as we are, we're a lot wealthier than they are.
Yeah.
In comparison. Yeah.
We're living like kings and queens in comparison
it's
to them,
eye-opening.
and it really is. So it's kind of like that in St. Petersburg, where that's where the Tsar and his family lived, the imperial family, and you've got this House of Fabergé where they're making very expensive jewelry. Jewelry is not a necessity, people.
No.
It's not going to feed your family. It's not food to put in your stomach to keep your family from starving. So, they're taking all of this the meticulous time to build these things, which are beautiful, but they're not like necessities in life.
Yeah, and when it comes to stuff like that, because Fabergé was very well known even in his day, it was very opulent.
Yeah,
You're not just paying
lifestyle.
for the gold and the diamonds. You're paying for the months and years that
And
those
the name.
craftsmen. Yes,
And the name Fabergé.
You're paying for the name Fabergé, and you're paying for the months, weeks, and years that those master craftsmen put into creating it.
And I mean, and some of it talks about today what one of those eggs is worth, like billions of dollars, like crazy how much one of those things are worth, what they're valued at.
Yeah.
And it does, one of the little dialogues in the book, they're talking about value and how much, it's like, what do you think what's the intrinsic value of this, and what makes it valuable? Is it the craftsman? Is it the name behind it? It's kind of like an interesting dialogue.
Yeah, well, and it is. It's the craftsmanship. It's the Fabergé name.
Yeah.
It's the
And it's who you're giving it to. You're
the-
giving it to the imperial family,
Exactly.
which makes it even more valuable.
It's the historical value behind who owned it.
Yep.
That makes it
Yeah.
valuable. Plus, you've got the actual value of the diamonds and the gold and the you
Yeah.
know. So yeah,
The literal value.
It's more than just literal value.
Yeah. And well, that was one of the conversations they've had too is, well, how valuable is this secret egg that was never given to the imperial family? Is it even worth
Going after?
Yeah, is it worth our effort? Is it worth the trip? Like, how valuable could it be if it wasn't linked to the imperial family?
Yeah, well, like that's kind of how I would probably think about it. We know what the cost that went into creating it, the literal cost of it. Why was this 53rd egg created and not given out? Why was it not publicly known? Is it just a marble sculpture? Because that would be a lot less valuable than, say, something that's encrusted with diamonds and rubies. And yeah, so it's like, are we going after this and it's just going to be a chunk of marble?
Yeah, and you
I mean-
do, like, as you read on in the book, it is like a symbol of almost like a revolt, because he doesn't really agree with the way the imperial family has been running the country and how they're treating the commoners. He's kind of torn between wanting to be loyal to the imperial family but also understanding, like, the everyday man, the common man, and the struggle of them. And so it is like a precarious place for him to be in.
Yeah.
And so, but basically he's linked to the imperial family. And so the people that are in revolt and revolution to the imperial family, they see Fabergé as he's one of the enemies.
Yeah.
And in the end, they have to like flee. They have to flee from their country. They have to leave and to avoid death or imprisonment or whatever. So it's kind of crazy to think that was a lot going on in that time frame. It's like, just again, thinking about just the absolute just frivolity of just like, they were living the high life. The imperial family and the people in St. Petersburg, like, they were high society. They were living the good life. And then just miles outside of that was just people that were starving. They were in poverty. And it's like, that doesn't balance.
Yeah,
That's
you can
way
see
off
why
balance.
people resented them.
Yeah,
Because
that makes them very resentful.
They couldn't even afford a loaf of bread.
Yeah, and they're living like fat cats, you know?
Yeah,
It's like, I get it. I do.
Yeah. So we're back to the current day. They're in their apartment, about to leave the next day. And this is where Nick tells them about Alma Peel, who is the Master Craftsman. He tells them that she is suspected to have been the last person to have had this secret 53rd egg. So their goal is to find out as much as they can about her, because she's sort of the key to discovering
to finding it.
where this egg is.
And Nick tells them, hey, I've got a few guys that's going to help you out. I've got a guy named Xander that he's kind of the muscle. He's whatever else
kind of a
he
bodyguard.
is. Yeah. And I've worked with his dad before. We were really, really good friends, and I've seen him growing up and all this, so I trust him. And then there was another guy, too. He was like the driver, basically.
Anatoly,
that's right.
Yeah.
So I got these couple of guys I trust, and they're going to be there waiting on you. All you got to find is an IT guy, which she got her neighbor, Zach.
Okay, before we get that far, I want to mention one thing. Here's another one of those things that was kind of a little bit too easy.
Yeah.
He's telling them about Alma. Well, we find out, Nick tells them their family has a family tie to Alma's best friend.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Her grandmother has a family tie to Ava's family. So Nick's grandmother's sister was best friends with Alma in Finland.
Come on.
Yeah, that's just another one of those things that you're like, okay, you're putting
too convenient.
You're putting too many conveniences in there. That really does that one kind of made my eye roll.
Right. Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Because you're like, what are the chances of that?
Yeah. So his house, or his childhood home, had, I don't know, he went up into the attic and found the letter from that Alma wrote or something. It's like, what?
Years ago, he went to a family cabin that held family possessions in a metal box. It was sort of a time capsule. And in it was a poem that he thinks will lead to the whereabouts of the egg. So that's, they're kind of going off of that too. Yeah. And then now we're getting into the part that you were just talking about.
So they have a team assembled. And again, like, okay, it makes sense because this is what Nick has done all his life, is all this treasure hunting thing. It makes sense that he would have people that he's worked with in the past that can do certain things. You know, it reminds me a lot of like Mission Impossible type stuff.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So it's like, oh, okay, you know, so he's got this letter. That's like their first little map that they have to go by, their first clue. Recruited the neighbor, Zach. He very willingly said, yeah, I'll go with you. So are we to the point now where So
they land in Russia.
Okay.
Okay, and this is one thing that I thought was kind of cute about this. They land in Russia, and Zach says it doesn't smell as he expected. Yeah. Well, Ava says, you expected a smell? And he says, well, sure, all cities have a smell. India smells like curry and heat. London smells like baked bread and expectation. America smells like sugar and potential. St. Petersburg smells like beets and survival.
I thought that was a cute little dialogue.
Yeah, I thought that was such a fun little way to think of it.
I did too. I've never heard it talked about in that way.
Yeah.
That was unique, that's for sure.
For sure, yeah.
Every place has a smell.
Yeah. So they get there. Ava goes to the Fabergé Museum and speaks to a docent in the hopes of learning more about Alma Peel. But the docent really doesn't know much other than it was presumed that Alma and her husband fled to Finland in 1921 after the revolution.
Right. I know. There's so many gaps in what they do know.
Yeah, and apparently the docent found a letter in something that she was restoring or doing, and it was a letter sort of relating to all this, but when she showed it to her boss snatched it away from her and said, so do not ever tell that you found this letter.
So she kind of shared what was in the letter.
Oh, did she? Okay.
Yeah, she shared with Ava what was in the letter. So she had read it, and she remembered what was in it. I can't remember because there's a lot of letters in
Yeah.
But, I mean, again, like, how convenient that this
docent
tour guide that's giving her a tour of the museum or whatever, like, oh,
just
I found
to have
a letter that she wrote.
Yeah.
Here's what it said.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Okay.
I walk in the door and get information I need.
How fortuitous. So
it does go back to St. Petersburg, 1910 at this point. The reason I want to say this is Carl Fabergé delivers the colonnade egg to the Tsar. He and his wife really liked it. So the reason I wanted to say that is because I'm going to flash a picture up of that colonnade egg. Yeah.
And again, she does mention a lot of the eggs and goes into pretty great detail as to what they looked like and all the intricacies of them. And so it's interesting. And again, like, you can go on your own time and just Google all these eggs and just kind of get more information about them. It was very interesting. One thing I want to mention, back up just a little bit, because it was kind of cute so it's like they get into the hotel and it's like, okay, just walk past like the front desk. Don't even go to the front desk because we've already have you checked in. Just act like you've already been staying in the room. And it's like, it's immediately like, oh, this is going to be like, kind of, like I said, like Mission Impossible stuff where they have to they have to dress in disguises and try to look different than they would normally look and wear wigs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's like they get into, it's like, almost get in the elevator and that little receptionist is like, wait a minute. It's like, dang it, we're so close.
Yeah.
And then, which they smooth talked their way or whatever. And like, we just went out. We stayed here last night. We just went out to get something and we came back or whatever. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so it's like they get in there and they're kind of like debriefing. They meet Xander, which Xander is a good looking guy, you guys. Yeah. He's buff and he's British, I think.
I think so, yeah.
And so he's got this British accent. He's buff. He's cute. He's handsome. All this stuff. And of course, Ava is like,
she's gaga, which drives Zach crazy because
poor Poor Zach,
I
y'all.
know.
I feel so bad for him because he is like totally in the friend zone.
Yeah, well, and to make matters even worse, when they start going onto some of their more covert operations, they wear these cameras that are hidden, and he can hear and see everything.
See
well, of
their
course,
kind of interaction with each other.
they get into one point where he has to hear everything that they're saying. Zach does,
like insult to injury.
Yeah,
man.
it's like, could you guys at least be a little bit socially aware of that this guy that's attracted to you is listening? Can you be kind?
Yeah, exactly. And her mom kind of does have that conversation with her. She does.
Yeah.
But like before all that though, it's like they get in there and they're kind of debriefing with Xander. And he's kind of explaining like what their next step is and the costumes and things like this. And Zach finds out his role is to stay in the hotel room. He doesn't get to go out and do all the fun adventures. He doesn't get to dress up, and so he has to just stay there and be like. And he's looking at things. Again, they have like she has a brooch that has a camera on it, and so he's looking for things that could be notable, or if somebody's following
and
them,
he's hacking into files, trying to find information to feed to them, to help them on their journey.
He's dang it, you get that, like, it's like, it's obvious disappointment that he doesn't get to kind of be out with them doing things.
Yeah. And this is where Carol, you kind of get to see the mother side of her, because she kind of is put in a situation where she sees how this is making Zach feel.
Yeah.
And so she sort of, gives him the mother treatment because she feels sorry for him.
No, definitely. Carol seems just like a really nice lady and very like self-aware and aware of others and their feelings and stuff. So it's funny because Carol gets to dress up too. She gets to play a part in the first little thing they did, which was go to that museum. It's like, okay, Ava, you're going to dress up as whatever. And you're going to go like by yourself. Like you're a writer. You're doing a story on Fabergé. And so you're just trying to gather information about him to write a book. And it's also very important that you're going to just gush about how wonderful Russia is and how wonderful the imperial family was. And like you're going to write a good book that puts them in a very good light, and all this. Yeah. And so that was her cover story to go into the museum. And then so Carol was going to be Xander's mom. So it's like son and a mom to go in, and they're just sightseeing. They're
basically there as tourists.
Yeah, tourists. And so that was kind of cute. That was kind of fun that the mom got to get dressed up and be involved, and that was I loved that little interaction there, because they end up like, okay, here's the plan, because Ava already has a tour scheduled with this lady. But we're going to come up and like, hey, can we just join your tour and all this? So it's cute. So she does actually get some, kind of suspiciously so gets valuable information, or is too convenient how much valuable information she actually got. And they got to see all like the eggs on display and stuff. It's really cool. Yeah. So like their next thing. So
while they're out doing their thing, Zach is at the hotel doing his surveillance and research. Well, he learns that the Fabergé workshop was taken over by communists after the revolution, and anyone caught going into the building after the seizure was sent to work camps. So they all kind of come to the conclusion that if the 53rd egg was hidden there at the time that nobody else was allowed in there, they're like, conceivably the egg could still be hidden in somewhere in there.
Because it wasn't a letter, it was a poem. Yeah. That the first thing they had was like a poem, and it said something about the secret under the boards. And which as the reader, we're like, yeah, he had it under the floorboards, something about the secret under the boards that keeps popping up. Yeah. So their goal is to go back to where the old Fabergé studio was, which I think is an apartment now or something. Yeah, so they have to wiggle their way into there because, of course, they're thinking it's in the floorboard somewhere in what was his studio. And so Xander's like, so this time we're going to be a newlywed couple.
Yeah.
So Xander and Ava are pretending to be newlyweds. Well, of course, Zach is just
because they're pretending they want to maybe buy this.
Yes, and live there for a
apartment.
while.
Yeah.
Like rent it out or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Zach's just like, oh, daggers to the
Yeah.
heart, like, oh, now they're gonna pretend to be a newlywed couple.
And they do have sort of a little, while they're in the apartment, they do have sort of a little.
They have a moment.
Yeah.
Where they
like-
almost kiss.
Where they almost kiss, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And of course the cameras are on, and he can hear and see.
Yeah, and the realization of that, like, oh, they can hear us, they can see us.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
Which
in
kind
the
of
moment,
forgot.
I can see how you could kind of forget.
Yeah,
that
when you're
it's
kind of
there.
in the heat of the moment and everything, and they're in like close proximity to one another and everything.
Yeah.
Well, they do find the hidden compartment, and there's like a metal box in there.
And again, this was one of those things that felt a little bit too easy because they go in there and they're pushing on the boards. They can't find it. They think nothing's there. Well, just out of nowhere, Zach pops up and says in their earpiece, he's like, hey, you know how these Fabergé eggs, how he has this spring mechanism into his eggs? It was very new
technology
at the time Fabergé created that spring. He goes, maybe one of the boards is a spring mechanism. Well, so they go in there, and of course, that's exactly what it was. Nobody would have found it if Zach hadn't suddenly.
Yeah.
Again, it was just a little bit too easy.
Too convenient.
Yeah, just
I
too
agree.
convenient,
I
yeah.
agree. Yeah.
Again,
we get
I
a lot
know
of that in this book,
you
but
have
that's
to,
okay.
You have to propel the story forward. Yeah.
Right. It's just like so unrealistic at times, though.
So they find one of these boards. They kind of mess with it, and it pops up on this spring-loaded mechanism, and
so
there's a
she
box
reaches
in
in, and oh wait, there's something. What do I feel? Grabs it out of there.
there. I would be terrified to stick. I'm like, what if there's a dead mouse in there?
Stick my hand in a black hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. Heck no.
Yeah.
So, but she does, and I think they switch places where he ends up the one getting it out or something. I don't know. But and they had like some banter about what was it, like Russian spiders or something like that.
Yeah.
And gonna get you.
Yeah.
And so they have a little banter or whatever. They get the box out. He is able. It's locked, but he's able to pick the lock because he has that kind of a
Of course
background.
he does,
Picks the lock, and there is a drawing.
There's a drawing
and a letter, or
something. And it's a drawing of a fist.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was.
I just can't remember. It all running together a little bit. There's drawings of the egg. There's but that was part of the egg, though. It's like a fist raised in like revolt.
Yeah, inside they find a metal box that looks like it contained a Fabergé egg at one time, but of course the egg's not there. Yeah. Under the velvet lining, they find a crumbly piece of paper with faded print. They can't make it all out, so they stick the paper in their pocket. They're going to take it back to the hotel to figure it out later because they want to try to find out what this message is. But anyway, they finally find a drawing that has the raised fist, which of course is a message of revolt.
Yeah, and that was, so you're starting to, little by little, that was Carl Fabergé's way of revolting, I guess. It was his way of kind of like, it was an act of defiance, I guess, against the imperial family. And because I guess that was his way of defying them, I guess. He didn't, I don't know what else he could have done.
Yeah, and he created this egg with sort of a dual message. Basically, it was not an opulent egg like the previous ones. And basically, it was just like, I think it was made out of ivory or something. I don't know. Maybe it was more. Maybe in 1920 that was a more precious stone. Yeah. But it was basically, I think, an ivory clenched fist, and it had a blood red crown that fit over it.
Yeah, the fist like fit into the crown or something like that. So it looked like a bloody fist, I think.
So he created it that way with a specific purpose because to the monarchy, to the imperial, it would symbolize the power that the Imperials have. But to the people, it would symbolize revolution,
like a revolt,
and the red crown would symbolize blood. So he created it with dual meanings.
Yeah,
and where your station in life would determine how you
interpreted it,
what that meant, which is kind of brilliant.
Yeah, I agree. And again, like they kind of lost me a little bit on why it was so stressful for Alma to have it, and why it was, because like if they found it, like there would just be so she would really be in big trouble. I just don't understand why it was so stressful for her and why she felt like she had to keep it a secret, even from her husband.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that. I'm like, it's a piece. It's an egg.
Yeah.
It's a piece of jewelry. Like, it's. Like,
although
I don't know.
Part of me wonders if maybe because of the symbolism of revolt, maybe they, I don't know, maybe they feared that the government would see it as a symbol of revolt against the government.
And
and
that must have been it, because but it's like she was just terrified to even have that in her possession, like terrified that someone was going to come and find it. But would they even know what they were looking at?
Well, exactly.
When they did find it, they would just be like, "Woo, I could sell this and get some money out of it." Like, I don't know, but it was almost like it was.
It was a little bit more of a big deal than it felt like it should have been.
Yeah, the symbolism of it was like, in their minds, just massively huge.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, would have been that big of a deal if they saw it or found it? Like, I don't know, because she was like, I mean, she almost went crazy. Alma did, like, just the secret of it, having it, and all of this, and I'm just like, why is it that big of a deal?
And everybody having to flee in the middle of the night. It did feel a little bit too important for what it was.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm forgetting something. But yeah.
So
anyway, but that was kind of how the story went.
Right.
It was very important that they keep this egg secret.
And I feel like in present day, it's just the value of the egg, what they could get. The money they could get out of it.
Yes.
That's the only thing they're looking at, you know?
Yes.
Ava and Xander decided to go to the, how do you say that?
Anacove
Bridge. They kind of feel like that's where their next clue is leading them. There's this bridge that has horses, like somebody that's trying to tame horses.
And I think it's 4 horses in various
stages.
Poses. Like one sort of on the ground, one that has one of its legs up, and one it's rearing up.
Yeah.
So it's and it's symbolic of something.
Yeah. And so they're like, let's just go for a walk. It's not far from where they were at, 15-minute walk. Let's go for a walk and see if there's just something that springs out at us. There was something in one of those letters or one of the poems or something.
Led them to that point. Many. Yeah.
That they're like, it said something about the bridge, or said something about the being tamed or something.
Yeah.
And
so the bridge and the horses kind of felt
supposed
like
to
it
mean
fit.
something.
Yeah.
And so it's like, let's just go check it out. So Carol and Zach stay at the hotel, of course. Well, so they get in the elevator, they turn their cameras off because Xander was wanting to have a moment with her. He's going to kiss her in the elevator, and she's like, which surprised me that she backed away from it.
Yeah.
But she was like, well, wait a minute. No. And because she was starting to like him. She obviously had like an infatuation with him.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he was just very good looking and everything. So she was attracted to him. But anyway, so she actually kind of was like, no. But again, they turned their camera off. Well, they forgot to turn him back on. Yeah. So the whole time, Zach and Carol are like, what's going on? Why are their cameras off and all this? So they go and they're looking at it. I don't know that they really find out too much. It was, to me, kind of pointless.
Yeah.
Fruitless.
But there is one notable thing that kind of happened here. While they're at the hotel, Anatoly calls Nick and says, hey, man, I'm in New York. I want to come visit with you. And Nick was like, wait, you're in Russia with them. You're their driver. Yeah, so they come to find out this is a fake Anatoly.
He is not the real Anatoly. Yeah. Okay,
so when we mention Anatoly from here on out, we're talking about quote unquote fake Anatoly.
Yeah, fake Anatoly. So I knew it. I knew something was gonna. I knew someone wasn't who they said they were. I knew
honestly,
it.
I thought it was going to be Xander.
Well, me too. I suspected that he wasn't all on the up and up. I suspected that he wasn't either who he said he was, or he's not the good guy. Yeah. So I so knew it.
Yeah, I'm like, listen, he's too good looking.
Yeah,
he's too smooth. He's too suave. He's the perfect red herring. He's the perfect bad guy.
Oh yeah. Well, and she even talks about it. She's like, if I was writing a book, you would be like the love interest, but also the love interest turned bad guy, and that's exactly what happened?
Yeah.
So you're like, oh
I'm
my
just
gosh.
saying, it must be nice to be good looking enough to have main character energy. I'm like the dorky sidekick that nobody really roots for.
And I'm like the fat best friend.
So, but hey, I guess life would be boring if everybody was a main character, right?
That's right. You got to have some side characters too.
Exactly.
So Zach and Carol are like, oh my gosh, that's not the real Anatoly. And where are they? We got to go find them. So they're like freaking out. And then it like cuts back to Ava and Xander, and here the fake Anatoly drives up like, hurry up and get in right now. So, which Ava's not really realizing just yet what's going on.
Yeah.
They get in, and we forgot to mention there's this shady character that she runs into. She gets stuck in the elevator with them.
Yes,
briefly,
he kind
just
of
the ride down.
says something inappropriate that makes her feel cringe.
Where he looked at her like she was a piece of meat, and he was with someone that looked like probably a call girl or something.
A call girl, yeah.
Where she looked terrified of him, and he felt sorry for her and knew that she was probably in a really bad situation there.
Yeah.
So she gets stuck in the elevator with those two, and by the time they get down, he's like questioning her, like trying to figure out what her name is and all this, and like looking her up and down and all this. Well, she gets away from him, and Xander's like, oh yeah, that's a bad guy. Let's get away from him and all that. So when the fake Anatoly, was it Anatoly? When fake Anatoly comes and hurry up and get in the car, and she gets in the seat, and look who's in the seat beside her. That one dude, that scary Russian dude.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, what's he doing here? And
we were just trying to get away from you.
And he gets their mics and their cameras or whatever. And so Xander like drops the act and was like, yeah, I'm with them, and we're basically kidnapping you. We're going to use you as leverage
against
Nick.
We're going to,
because we know Nick knows more than what he's saying. He was just trying to get you to figure out the clues on your own, but he already knows where the egg is. And so we're gonna use you to get the information out of him.
It's not far from the truth.
Not far from the truth.
Nick truly didn't know where the egg was.
He knew more than what he was letting on.
But he knew more than he was letting on because he wanted Ava to find her way on her own. Yeah.
Which I understand.
Because he kind of wanted her to
do.
carry on his legacy of treasure hunting after he was gone. So I guess he wanted to make sure if she could do this on her own, then he felt comfortable that she had the mental capacity to take over once he's gone.
And she was finding her way, and had things not gone south here with the bad guys, and if they had actually been who they said they were and were on their side, I think it would have happened exactly that way. I think it would have worked out that way. But so there's that threw a real wrench in things, and so now they're kidnapping her. They're going to Finland now. Which is where they should have started out to begin with. That's part of it too. It's like, why did we bother coming to Russia? You knew it wasn't in Russia. Yeah. He already knew it was in Finland, or thought he knew it was in Finland.
Thought he knew, yeah.
And so he knew that's where they would end up. But he wanted her to like follow the clues to get there herself.
He wanted her to find her own path.
Figure it out herself. So it's like, and then Zach takes off. I'm gonna go on the bridge and try to find them. And of course they're already gone.
Yeah.
I don't know if something was left behind that he found or something.
I think he found one of the cameras. Or
the brooch or whatever that had the camera on it.
Yeah.
So anyway.
He found something, so he knew at that point.
Like she's been taken.
They had been separated from their surveillance gear, so they knew something was up at this point.
Well, and obviously they know they're dealing with a fake Anatoly, and they have a pretty good feeling that Xander's in on it.
Yeah.
Because Xander, I think, would know who the real Anatoly was.
Right, because he's Nick's bodyguard.
Yeah.
So he would know this is not the real.
Right.
Yeah.
And so he has to be, they know he's in on it at this point.
And I even have a big old bold statement right here. Is Anatoly is Xander in on this?
Oh, yes, he is. So now this becomes a rescue mission. Mm-hmm. It's less about a treasure hunt now, and it's more about trying to rescue Ava.
Yeah.
So, of course, Nick, like, you do feel bad for him because it's all his fault. Mm-hmm. You're the reason they're in Russia right now. You're the reason they're doing all this. And now she's in danger. It's all because of you, dude.
Yeah.
And, of course, he feels horrible. And he's frustrated with Xander. Can't believe he would do that and all this. And
yeah.
So where are we at now?
Okay, so we're back in St. Petersburg. Really, there's not a lot here other than we find that the economy is in a really sharp decline. The workshop has been closed. Fabergé is no longer a thing. They're using it to manufacture syringes and grenades and different types of artillery. So the House of Fabergé has fallen. Carl reveals to Augusta this fist, this secret egg. He tells her that he plans to give it to the Tsar. And of course, she's mortified. She says, "You cannot do that," because she fears that it'll make Carl an enemy of the throne, and she tells him to destroy it.
Yeah, because he's already kind of an enemy of the commoner, and then that would also make him he would have no allies.
He would be in no man's land.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I think he ended up. So Augusta.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Is it Augusta?
Augusta.
She is so smart. She's very intelligent.
She's intuitive.
She's very intuitive. And so she knew he was up to something. She knew he made a secret egg. He did not tell her. He was not going to tell her. But she found out. She figured it out. And she's like, "I know you made a secret egg. And you're going to tell me about it." I mean, I love like her just kind of, because she put up with a lot from him with the whole affair thing. She knew about it. And she stayed with them. And they'd grown apart and all this, but they stayed married the whole time. And she's like, "You're going to tell me about this." And so she knows the whole story. And had he already given it to Alma at this point?
I don't think he's given it to her yet, because at this point he shows it to her and he places the crown over it. And when she sees that it looks like blood, she's like, "Oh no, you cannot."
Right.
Yeah. So at this point, Alma does not have it yet.
Yeah. And again, it keeps going back to 1904, 1915, 1905, 1917.
So the timeline's very hard because it jumps.
Keep it straight. They keep jumping around. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyways,
but
it's all about the egg. It's all about the egg and that timeline. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, at this point, I think we're going to go into a spoiler zone because we can't really say much more. So highly recommend you read this book. Again, it's called The Master Craftsman by Kelli Stuart, Kellistuart. Highly recommend it. If you think you might want to read it, you may want to stop here because we don't want to spoil the ending for you. If you're leaving us, thanks for listening. We appreciate you so much. Come back next time. If you're sticking around, we'll talk to you in just a minute. Okay, take it.
All right, so we're back. So back to present day. Okay, so Ava's starting to figure out what's going on. So she learns that Natalie isn't the same guy that her dad thought he was. She also figures out that Xander is not who he was kind of claiming to be. I mean, he is Xander, and he is the son of Nick's good friend, but he's not a good guy that she thought he was.
But we figure out at this point what Xander's motivation is in what he's done.
Which is kind of ironic because it's the same scenario that Ava was in, estranged from her dad. Xander blames Nick for basically being estranged from his dad. He said, "My dad was hardly ever around because he was always with you on these treasure hunts. So he was always gone because of you."
So really, Nick's destroyed two families' lives.
Yeah, way to go, buddy.
He's a real winner.
And also, he blames Nick because his dad's already dead.
Yeah.
He got the same kind of cancer that Nick has, and he makes an assumption that they came across something along the way that made them them have this type of cancer. I'm not sure what it is, but so he assumed, because it's like, what are the chances that it would be the exact same, very aggressive.
That does kind of make sense. I mean, what are the chances? What are the chances that two guys that work together frequently come up with the exact same kind of cancer?
So he could be right.
It is a logical conclusion,
right? I agree. And so he's like, so he blames Nick for
It's a little bit extreme to kidnap your best friend, your dad's best friend's daughter, but you know,
it was also estranged from her dad.
It's a fiction book, so
right. So there's a lot of resentment there. He resents Nick for taking his dad away from him while he was growing up. He was kind of an absent father, I guess, growing up, or so he thought. He perceived it that way, and now it kind of an early demise because of possibly something that Nick had to do with. I don't know, but he kind of blames him for the death as well. So,
At this point, they haven't found the eggs in the floorboards at St. Petersburg like they thought they would. He tells them that their next step is to take the next train to Helsinki, Finland, where Alma ran to after Fabergé gave her the egg.
Nick is giving instructions to Carol and Zach.
Yeah,
saying this is where you need to head to try to find Ava. Like I can almost guarantee you this is where Xander has taken Ava.
This is what we were talking about earlier, where we said he could have just sent them to Helsinki at the first to begin with.
Yeah. And he probably should have. But so Nick knows where they're heading. Yeah. And so he's sending Carol and Zach to that cabin or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So this is where Nick's aunt, grandma, something lived. Some kind of distant relation to Nick. This is where they lived in Finland, right?
Yes.
Is that right? There's two girls that are sisters. One of them is Alma's best friend. The other sister is jealous of Alma, of the relationship that her sister has with Alma, that they're so close to one another. She's kind of jealous on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
And I guess Alma spent a lot of time there, like maybe back in her early days. And then when she moved back to Finland, just spent more time there. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, we do learn here that Xander kind of gives Ava an ultimatum. He says, look, this can work one of two ways.
Yeah.
We can find the egg without you, and if we do that, we don't need you, so we're just going to kill you. Or you can help us. We'll all profit from the sale of the egg, and then
like you can kind of get back at your dad.
You can get back at your dad. You can live. Once we find it, we'll share the proceeds. We'll split it and go our own way, and everybody lives happily ever after.
Because I think Xander liked her in a way, in his own way. I think he kind of liked her. I don't think he wanted to kill her.
No, he just wanted revenge against Nick.
Yeah, I don't think he wanted her to die. But at the same time, if it came to that, I think he was going to be okay with it. I don't know. It was kind of hard to read him at this point. He took such a turn.
Well, at this point, like you're suspicious of everything he does and says, because we basically view him as the bad guy now.
And it basically said his demeanor changed, the way he talked, the way he interacted with her, where he was kind of more sinister and evil. Yeah. So I honestly don't know. Because at first, like a split second, it almost like made you believe that he was maybe kind of starting to fall for her too, but then he had this whole sinister plan
how it was
he wanted to get back to.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, I don't, like, is he gonna like, and at the end, is he gonna like try to do the right thing? Because you kind of had hope that maybe he would do the right thing in the end.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
No. A lot of times when you read books, you kind of know by this point. I didn't know which way Xander was going to go.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, is he really a bad guy? Or So in that way, that was cool because it wasn't predictable.
No. Well, and I mean, come on, you just met this guy. You don't know him from Adam. You don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy. And
True.
Come to find out he's a bad guy.
Just because he's the son of your dad's best friend doesn't mean he's a good guy.
Yeah. Well, and the whole time, Ava was like, no, I don't like him. No. Yeah. She was trying to deny that she had an attraction for him or feelings for him, but you could tell that she did a little bit. But it was more infatuation than anything. So anyways.
For sure, yeah. So Ava basically thinks it over to their ultimatum, and she decides she's in. She's going to help them. Now, again...
I think she just says that. I don't think she means
and
that.
Again, that leaves you with the impression, okay, is she really going to help them, or is she just saying that to give them a false sense of subservience?
But think about it. What was her options there?
Well,
she either went along,
No, I'm not gonna do it. You're gonna
with
have to
this
kill me.
plan. If she didn't go along with it, she was gonna die.
Yeah.
So there was no option.
It was
for
her best option
She had to play
survive.
along. She
Yeah.
had to play along just to try to live a bit
To
longer.
self-preserve. Yeah.
So no, I never for once thought like, okay, she's just in this whole thing with them now. She's just as evil as they are. Like, no. But it's
Although
self-preservation.
The way authors write these days, and this is going to sound horrible me saying this, and I don't mean it the way it sounds. You know, the way authors, especially female authors, write the women empowerment. You know, I could totally see Ava digging her heels in and saying, "I'm not going to help you any," and then she kicks butt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, she didn't have
Because
any...
a lot of books are like that. They want that female empowerment, that female,
Yeah.
I don't need a man, I can overcome a man.
I mean, come on. Realistically, though, she had to play along. They had guns. She didn't.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
She was at a disadvantage, obviously. And there was 2 to her 1. No, 3, because they had a different drive.
Yeah.
Was that the fake Natalie? No, they had somebody different now. I don't remember.
Yeah,
but they
I
had
don't
somebody...
remember,
It wasn't the fake Natalie. It was somebody different that they had driving for them. I don't know what happened to fake Natalie.
I think they got rid of him. Yeah, they killed him.
Did they kill him?
Yeah, they killed him.
I don't
Yeah.
remember that. Oh, my Lord.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with powerful women in fiction. That's why I was like, okay, this could go 2 ways because I could totally see. But anyway, yeah.
Well, unless, I mean, that would just be unrealistic to have like a...
Well, I mean, it was unrealistic for her grandma to know ailments.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, nothing about this character that you've been told makes us think that she's like
No.
some martial artist or
No.
something. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Where she could just like kick the gun out of his hand and
Yeah.
really just kick his butt. Like,
She was
No.
no Laura Croft.
no,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Nick knows that Xander's going to call him
Yes.
at some point.
Yes, because
He's going
he
to call
needs
for more
information.
information. That's the
Yeah.
whole point of having Ava is she's his leverage to get this information out of Nick.
Yeah.
So he knows he's going to hear from Xander. He just doesn't know when.
Yes.
So he's expecting it.
And Nick has a journal from his grandmother that details the relationship with Alma and the secret that the 2 of them shared.
Yes.
So, yeah,
Yet another.
the journal
like-
was in that. He found the journal in the attic of his grandmother's house. One of those convenient, oh, gee, I found this.
Right.
And that's what precipitated the search for this egg in the first place. That journal.
Yes. Yes. And he could have led with that, and he chose not to.
And he chose not to, yeah.
But, okay, so he's fairly certain that Alma has hidden this egg somewhere around that property. Mm-hmm. Which all makes sense. All signs are pointing to that. Absolutely. Nick gives Zach and Carol directions. Put in your GPS. This is the address. Go as fast as you can. Get there, because I know that's where they've taken her. If you wanted to briefly talk about how Carl, back in 1918, his and Augusta's 2 sons, one of them's in prison.
Mm-hmm. For no
one
reason.
or two has already fled
Yeah,
the country.
he's
I
in
think.
prison just for being a Fabergé.
Yep. They're kind of enemies of the resistance.
Yeah. Carl and Augusta have separated at this point to protect her from being captured with him, because at this point he knows it's inevitable that he's going to get caught eventually.
Well, Carl fled before she did,
Yeah.
which I was like, you're going to leave your wife behind? You're going to get out and leave her behind?
But does this surprise you? He had a secret mistress and didn't even try to hide it. So I mean,
Yeah.
again,
Leaves her
clearly he was not.
in like the hostile place that they're trying to flee from. So,
And
yeah.
I hate to talk about a historical character like this, even especially knowing that this is not historical fact,
Yeah.
that he had a mistress. But according to the story, he was not a man of integrity. So it wouldn't be surprising that he ran off and left his wife to fend for himself.
Well, yeah. He felt like he had to for some reason.
to protect
And
her.
I think she agreed, like, yeah,
Yeah.
go on.
Yeah.
Well, it was a kind of intense, her and her son's like trying to help her get out. And they travel to like pretty close to the border.
I got Sound of Music vibes from this part of the story. You know, when they're
trying to flee the country.
Fleeing the country, and they have to go by the way of the mountains.
So
him and his mom basically do the same thing.
Yeah. So they're running through a forest or wooded area, whatever, to try to get to Finland. They're really close to the border. And there's somebody chasing behind them, like shots are ringing out, like flying by them, like they're saying stop, and they're just, and then she's an older woman,
and of course, this is like every book and movie. You got somebody chasing after you, and nobody can shoot it. Nobody can shoot
Nobody
you,
can
and
hit the mark.
Yeah.
So thankfully they make it. It's just like they're just. This is a Hail Mary, just trying to get there, not get shot, not get captured and imprisoned, and so they make it to the border. And when they get to the end of Finland, the authorities there are like, "Who are you?" I'm like, "Oh Lord, you're darned if you do, darned if you don't."
Yeah.
Like we're from here, we're from here. Which I guess they were originally from Finland, I think. So anyway, so she was for sure, 'cause she's like, "I want to go home to Finland," but anyway, so everybody has had to just try to escape. But poor Elma, she got stuck. Her and her husband got stuck there for quite a while.
And Elma is starting to resent her husband because at this point she still has
the egg.
She still has the fist egg, and so
it's eating her up on the inside. She feel like she can't tell her husband, which doesn't make any sense to me. I would have told him.
I don't understand.
I would have told him so long ago.
Yeah.
But so she's keeping the secret from him and all this, and she's miserable. I mean, obviously I don't even know. It's just kind of wartime type things going on.
And they just can't get out of town. But he finally does come home one night and say, "You know what? We're leaving tonight. We've got our out."
The papers they needed.
Yeah, so they've got their out, and they leave town that night.
Yeah, and because it talked about how they were basically starving. Mm-hmm. They food was just, I guess, just so scarce. Mm-hmm. So they were finally able to escape. I felt bad for her. There was something she'd said, really struck a chord with me, because she was talking about wanting to get out so badly, but just feeling like the escape just kept eluding them. Yeah. And I just that resonated with me, because I've felt like that in life at times, maybe being in a job that I just couldn't stand and couldn't wait to get out of, and just felt like there was no way out. I was stuck. Yeah. And just, it's that period of time of feeling like you are stuck and feeling like there isn't a way out. Yeah. And just praying, prayer after prayer after prayer,
Lord,
God, get me out of this, or make a way, or change my perspective, or something, change the situation. It's tough when you're in it and you can't see change coming. You can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I feel like she was there, and I could relate to that in certain ways. Yeah. But just like she was able to get out, I feel like every situation I've faced where I've been in a similar situation, God does make a way. And it's he doesn't always get you out when you want to get out. Or
in the way that you think he should.
Yeah. And I think about Paul in the Bible, where it said he had a thorn in his side, and he prayed to God for God to remove it. And God's like, my grace is sufficient. Yeah. He's like, I might not remove the thorn.
And those are hard words in the moment. My grace is sufficient. Even though as Christians we know that's true, in the heat of the moment, those are hard words.
It is, because you're not getting the answer you want, which is, sure, I'll get you out of this. It's, you're still going to have to be in this for a time, for a bit longer. Yeah. You're still going to have to suffer through this. Yeah. But God never promised to get us out of certain situations, but he always will get us through it.
Yeah, and that's the key. So many people, they give up on their faith and they give up on God because God doesn't do what they think he should do. He doesn't protect them from this or that. Yeah. Well, God never promised that. I think a lot of people are under the disillusion that because we believe in him, because we trust in him. No, God never promised that. Mm. There are times when he says, my grace is sufficient. Yeah. You're going to have to go through this.
You're going to have to go through some suffering. Yeah. And it's for your benefit. That's hard to see it that way, too. It's hard to see. I think in James, it talks about, I delight in the testing of my faith. I can find joy in it because I know it's producing perseverance.
It's producing character, perseverance. Yeah.
And I think it uses the word perseverance in some of the translations. Yeah. Where it's my faith is being tested, but it's producing perseverance within me. And like you said, it's bringing things out of me that wouldn't have been brought out otherwise. It's the crushing.
But see, here's why that verse is so hard, because the Bible does say it produces character. It produces perseverance. But guess what? It may be 10 years before you see the fruits of that perseverance.
Yeah. Which is hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard
because
when you don't see immediate results.
You need that help right now.
Yes.
You don't need
want relief.
10 years.
You want relief right now.
And that's where your faith has to be strong.
Yeah. It really does. It really tests your faith. And I mean, I've definitely been going through some stuff in my life and recently, and just like, it really has brought me to a place of more dependence on God, which is a good thing, which is what he wants. Yeah. And for me to have to really put more trust in him to just take care of me and provide for me and meet my needs instead of, oh, I've got this. I can control, like I'm in control of this and I can provide for myself and I can meet my own needs. And, you know, I go into problem solving mode and I try to fix things and I try to work it out until like, okay, we do this, we can do that, we can do this. And God's saying, would you just let me have this?
Yeah.
Would you just let me work this out and quit trying to fix it yourself and quit trying to figure it all out for yourself? And so it's hard to release that and let God really have it and surrender it to him.
But you know, we're people who like to be in control of our own lives.
Definitely.
It's hard to relinquish control.
It is.
I mean,
especially if you feel like you're independent.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can relate to you. Like, you're single, you live alone. I was single, I lived alone for a really long time, and you have to be independent. That, like, your life kind of forced you into that situation. Yeah. And it's like, well, I have to take care of myself. Who else is going to take care of me? Yeah. You know, and even when
you got married late in life.
Yeah, I did. And even when I was single, that was lessons that God would have to teach me is, yes, you can be single and you can be independent and that's all fine and good, but you still need me. Like, you still need to depend on me and you need to rely on me and trust in me. And it's like, yeah, you're right. Yeah. So it's hard. It's hard when you want to be in control.
It is. Your life. A scripture is trying to pop into my mind. There's also a scripture that talks about when you go through these trials and temptations, the things that make you want to give up, when you don't give up, that's fruit, evidence of the faith that you really have.
And you really do.
It's easy to give up. It's easy to give up and say, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm done with God. Yeah. He's not doing what I need him to, so I'm done. Yeah. The real test of a character is when you go through those times that are horrible and you may want to give up. Yeah. But in your heart, you know what, even though things are not going the way I want and I want to give up, I'm not going to, because I know at the end of the day, I may not see it for a year, I may not see it for 2 years, but at some point, this is going to prove itself as it's going to make me better. It's going to make me stronger. It's going to increase my faith.
Good things are going to come from it.
Yeah. So we get back to the present day. Xander and fake Anatoly take Ava to their home where the great-grandmother lived, and they break into the house. Xander calls Nick and tells him they're there.
We didn't really talk about how he gives really specific instructions on park here, walk to here. Yeah. Because he talks to Ava on the phone. So Xander finally does call Nick. Nick says, I want to talk to Ava. He puts on speakerphone at first, and Nick said, I want to talk to her privately. And I won't tell you anything unless you let me talk to her privately. So she takes him off speaker, and he's trying to give her instructions. He's like, there's this other little cabin across the way or something. Make your way to that. Like, escape from them. Make your way to this other cabin or house or whatever. Yeah. And hide under, there's a secret hiding place. But she doesn't escape in the way that you thought she would. Because that's what he told Nick or Zach and Carol to like find. She should be hiding under the floorboards or whatever at this cabin. Go there to find her. And so he gave him instructions to go there. What ends up happening is the bad guy, and I can't think of his name. He's just the really, really bad guy. Yeah. He ends up shooting Xander. We're like, oh my gosh, that was like a moment of like, yeah, like, oh my gosh, he just shot him. Which I'm not surprised, because he seems like a very devious, evil man, and for him to be like, okay, well, I got what I need. I don't need you anymore. I'll dispose of you. So he turns on Xander. What was the big Russian dude? The evil Russian dude, though.
I don't think I documented that.
The guy that they picked up
in
kind
the
of on the
elevator.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy from the elevator. And he was in the car when they kidnapped her, basically. So he's in on this with Xander, which that really just makes you not like Xander even more, because he knows this guy is bad news. He knows this guy's evil and would have no trouble shooting and killing Ava. So I'm like, why would he even involve this guy? That's a little perplexing to me.
Yeah.
What benefit did he bring? What did he bring to the table? Like, he didn't know anything. You know all this stuff. He doesn't know all this stuff. So
Yeah.
why?
He didn't.
Why did
he
he bring
was
him
of no use.
in on it? It doesn't, that, other than some kind of funding, but did he need the funding from the guy? That would be the only thing that would make sense.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, I don't understand why he involved that guy.
Yeah.
Did that make any sense to you?
Maybe it was just to have an obvious bad guy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's why the writer included him.
Yeah.
But it just didn't make sense.
It didn't make sense in the analytical sense.
Yeah, because Xander could have totally done this without this guy. He didn't need that guy at all.
No.
And he opened himself up to being double-crossed, which is exactly what happened.
That's what happens.
And you should have known he was going to do that. That's the type of person he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, because
he's basically a mobster.
Yeah, oh yeah. And like no remorse, like he was, his plan all along was to kill Ava after they got what they needed out of her. He was not going to keep her alive.
No.
And I think Nick knew that. Xander knew that. It's just like, you know what kind of a guy he is. Why would you even bring him into this whole scheme, this whole plan?
Yeah.
No, 0 sense. So to me, that's a flaw in the plot
storyline.
of the storyline. Yeah. So he double crosses Xander and shoots him in the stomach, leaves him there to die. He's not dead yet, but dying from the gunshot wound. They leave him there because I guess I can't remember exactly, but he feels like he got what he needed to, like, I don't know, get him to the next thing because Nick told Ava where to find this thing, again, hidden in the wall or something. I don't know. What was that? What was that? Was that the journal? That was the journal. The grandmother's journal. He's like, this is where you can find the journal. Go get it. And she went they were in tow. So it's like, here's the journal. And there was something she even tried to hide, like something like try to slip it out, like a piece of paper that was in it. That was like an extra clue or something. Like trying to slip it out. And he's like, oh, Xander was like, I saw you. You were trying to slip that out. And
yeah.
So anyway, I guess he felt like that was the last piece of the puzzle, so he didn't need Xander anymore. Yeah. But he still had Ava. He felt like he still needed her. So shot Xander, left him to die. They go, I guess the next thing is trying to go out into the field, something about a black rock. But what happens is, though, the driver, the chauffeur,
Maxim,
he actually comes to Ava's rescue. He shoots the mobster. He's the one that gets shot, and then he go ahead and takes care of him, does the final kill shot. Because, she took off running. Like, they go out to the field where this black rock is, and she's like, oh, we need to go over here, which is close to, like, the fence line or the tree line.
Yes.
And so she's like, I'm going to take off as soon as I can, get as close as I can to it before I take off, because he's got a gun. And she takes off, and he's, like, trying to shoot at her, but she gets away. But he's after her, though, and that's when this Maxim comes along, and he shoots the mobster guy and takes care of him, and he tells Ava, like, hey, I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm actually a friend of your dad's and all this. And when I found out that they were doing what they were gonna do, I'm gonna help you and not them or whatever. So, and then Zach and Carol, showed up.
It gives her an ally, but it's still kind of really an ally just pops up out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, totally random. So it's like, okay, because I was like, how is she going to get out of it? How are they going to get away from this mobster guy? Which I was thinking Xander wasn't dead yet. I was thinking he was the one that shot the mobster guy. I was thinking it was Xander instead of whoever this other guy is. Yeah. And I was like, oh nope, it wasn't Xander. Because did you think that? You think he was like, okay, he's not dead yet. Maybe he's gonna like pull together some strength
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's always what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And try to like do the right thing in the end. But
Yeah.
no, I think Xander just died. So there's like 2 bodies.
The body counts are rising.
Yeah. But Zach and Carol, they find this place, they get out, they hear the gunshots, they see Ava from across the way, and they run over to her and all this. So they reconnect. Yeah. It's like, okay, well, all the bad guys are dead now.
Yeah. You think.
And this other guy, I think he's a good guy. He helped me out. So I think he's good. He said he would take care of the bodies, too.
Although, at this point, you're so suspicious of everyone. You're like, okay, is he really the good guy? Or is he just trying to get his hand on the egg and he's acting like the good guy?
Yeah. Because who knows this guy? We don't know him. We don't know if we can trust him.
Yeah.
So, no, he just kind of disappears into the night, I guess. He's like, I'll take care of the bodies. You don't worry about it.
Yeah, and then you never hear from him again.
Yeah. And so... But in one of the letters, again, so many letters, it's like a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
So one of these letters that they found, or journal, or poem, or whatever it is, the sister, the jealous sister, wrote a letter that she found. And she said, they think they're so smart. They didn't know I was following them, and I overheard them and all this. And I know that they hid, whatever this is, they hid something. She went and unburied it from where they buried it, and then she buried it somewhere else. Like at this post thing that said something about the thing I love the most or something.
Yeah.
She's like, I have figured it out. It is at this the base of this post. That's where she has reburied it. So she's digging with her hands in the dirt. She's digging. And she finds a box, a metal box, and it's like, this is it. This is it. Yay. This is it.
We finally found it. The Holy Grail.
Opens the lid.
Guess what?
And it's not in there.
It's not.
But a drawing of it is.
Yeah.
Which doesn't do you any good.
And a pair of icicle diamond earrings, which we didn't talk about it, but that's how Alma got her first start. Mm-hmm. She was making this very intricate drawing, and
looked like icicles.
I looked like icicles. Fabergé had gotten a request from a client that they wanted cheap earrings that didn't look cheap. Well, Alma's uncle saw these drawings. It's like, oh, this is really good. Can I show it to Fabergé? Fabergé sees it, and he was like, oh, this would be the perfect prototype to make these earrings. And so that's sort of how Alma got her start in Fabergé, and then she finally got to create these eggs. There was a drawing of that and a pair of those icicle earrings in the metal box.
That's right. Which I'm thinking the earrings got to be worth something. They're diamond earrings.
And they're
so
Fabergé.
At least that's something. And they're Fabergé.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you found something of valuable. I mean, that might be worth several $1,000s.
Well, you'd think. Yeah.
So, hey, you found some kind of treasure. I mean, you're not without.
Yeah.
You didn't find nothing.
Yeah.
So, which they were like, and Carol's like, oh, I just got a call. We got to get back as soon as possible because Nick doesn't have much longer to live.
Yeah.
So they have to rush back, which I'm just like, hey, while you're there, go ahead and search the place for the egg. Like maybe it's somewhere, like all the places that you think it might be. I mean, I'd go ahead and search both of the houses or the cabins.
Well, yeah, you're there.
I'd search the Black Rock.
Yeah.
Might as well, do a good little search. See if you can find something while you're there.
Yeah, because chances are you're not coming back once you leave.
Exactly. So, but I don't know. So it's like, it cuts to, they're already back in the States at his deathbed.
Yeah.
And he dies, and I think they make amends.
Yeah.
And they end on good terms.
They get home just in time to tell Nick they didn't find the egg. Yeah, but then
I mean, and she was just crestfallen when she opens the lid and it's not in there, just crestfallen. I mean, after all of that, almost getting killed.
You're like, where else could it be?
Yeah, which it goes back one more time to
Lausanne, Switzerland. I have no idea if that's how it's pronounced, but we're in 1920 now.
Yeah. So one more time, it goes back to early 1920s. And so Carl has died. They cremated him, so they have a urn of ashes. Mm-hmm. And you find out that Augusta, she knew that Alma had it. Again, very, very intuitive, very wise. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. She figured out that Carl had given it to Alma. So she went to Alma before Alma left the country, I believe. She went and was like, give me the egg.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't need to be responsible.
Yeah, not in a bad way. No, she wasn't.
Yeah. She wanted to protect Alma from having that.
Yeah, I believe so.
Because at this point, Fabergé put a target on your back.
Right?
So
yeah, it was a burden.
She did, which Alma already had a target on her back just from the fact
that
she was a master craftsman for
Fabergé. House of
Fabergé.
Fabergé.
And it would only add more to her misery if she were to be discovered with that egg. So really, Augusta was trying to help her.
I believe so.
Yeah,
I believe so. And I think Alma was so happy to be rid of it.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was just this huge burden and weight on her at that point.
Because I don't think anybody really liked this egg because
it was so polarizing.
Yes, it was so politically incorrect and so polarizing.
Yes, it was definitely... I don't know why he made it, I guess. In the end, you just think, why did you even make it to begin with? Which you'd kind of understand, I guess, in one way, because that was like his only way of rebelling, I guess.
And it was a way of self-expression, I guess. Yeah.
At any rate, so then you find out that she, like, buries it down into his ashes.
Yeah.
So I guess that's where it was this whole time.
Yeah, it was,
wherever his ashes
it was
are.
hidden with his ashes. Yeah. And she tells him to protect it from here on out.
Yeah, because her whole take on the egg is this thing is bad, nothing but bad news, and we need to be rid of it.
Yes.
We need to dispose of it.
Yes.
Bury it as deep as you can bury it, and it never be found.
It never needs to be
heard
found.
of. Or so that was like at the end you're like, they didn't find the egg, really?
Right?
After all
It's
this,
so anticlimactic.
they didn't find it. Come on now.
Yeah.
So, but at least the reader knows what happened to it in the end. At least she did give us that much.
Yeah.
But it's like, after all that,
I feel like they should have found it. Yeah.
I mean, I was hoping for it as
Yeah.
a reader, like expecting it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was anticlimactic as far as they didn't find what they were looking for.
Yeah.
But Zach and Ava, I think, might have a future. They kind of left it open-ended. He went and comforted her after when the dad passed. He was there with them, and she ran off to the orchard or something, and he went and comforted her. And I think, it was kind of like, you're growing on me. We'll see where things go kind of thing. They didn't like profess love for each other or anything, but it's like, hey, you're the real good guy, though. I think she could recognize, like, hey, you're a good guy, and you've treated me well, and you've done nothing but right by me.
Yeah.
And maybe I should give you a chance. I think I kind of left it at that. Like, well, we'll see what happens between them. But
I kind of feel like there should have been a second book to this, but there's not. I feel like there was room for more story. But
well, yeah, she could have, because you think, okay, well, is she going to turn into like a treasure hunter? Is she going to go on new adventures? I mean, they could have kept going and explored the relationship between her and Zach. I mean, they definitely could have. So, but it was fun. Like, definitely the whole like Mission Impossible spy hunt, treasure hunt type thing. Like, what's the other movie that's like really popular?
Like
with Nicolas Cage.
The Nick Cage National Treasure.
Yes, like that kind of.
Yes, it definitely gave you those kind of vibes. Because me, I hate romance. And there was a little bit of a hint of romance, but it never went there. And enough action adventure to keep it interesting, but not so much that you...
No, it was good.
When it comes to action adventure, I kind of need that to be in a certain balance, too.
Well, yeah, because you don't want just full on every page is like,
you need times to burst off and breathe.
Exactly. You don't want the whole thing to be just like intense and go, 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 go.
Yeah. So at this point, I really enjoyed it. I'm not big on a series. I don't typically finish series. I would have gone to the second book if there were one.
I think so too. Because really, it really hooked me. Yeah. And I was like, ooh, what's going to happen next? This is kind of fun. This is cool. It was a fun adventure read. And
for sure.
Because, people like me and you, we don't have adventures like this. I'm never going to go to Russia or Finland or wherever.
My biggest adventure is going to Walmart and seeing people in their pajamas.
Yes.
And I'll say I never go to Walmart. So.
I do. But you know what I'm saying? It's fun to like just get out of the real world for a second, put yourself into a fictional world,
which
fictional
is what
characters.
A good fiction book does.
Yeah, and it's just you leave reality for for however long, and
Yeah,
it's
for
fun.
a few days. Yeah, and that kind of baffles me because there are people out there, they read a book, no book ever pleases them. All they can focus on is what they didn't like.
The
They
inaccuracies.
It should have done this. It should have done
Yeah.
that. It wasn't this. It wasn't that.
Nitpick it.
Just
Enjoy it.
Enjoy a good book.
Yeah.
No book is perfect. No book is ever going to be.
Because even this
But
book,
find your enjoyment in it.
like you and I both were like, okay, this part like annoyed me, or this
Yeah.
part is like too obvious, like this is too convenient. Come on, this isn't realistic.
Yeah.
But we can have those like opinions about certain aspects of the book and still enjoy the book.
And still enjoy the book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like some readers, because I love leaving reviews on books.
do you?
I review every book I read.
Okay.
I love leaving reviews. Well,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I think readers take reviews a little bit too seriously.
Oh, I could see that. I mean,
Yeah.
I probably would.
Yeah. So, how many stars you giving this book out of 5?
I think I'm gonna give it 4.5.
4.5. Okay.
That's good.
Yeah, totally a easy 4.5, 5-star book for me. I think I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads because you don't give like
Oh, yeah.
half stars.
Yeah.
So it was an easy 5-star for me because it was well written.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I felt like a lot of the stuff was a little bit too easy, it was putting in
Yeah.
there for convenience.
Yeah.
Even despite all that, it was a well written book.
And again, it's just
Yeah.
unrealistic. Some of it,
But I
like,
can look past it.
that would never happen.
If I enjoyed the majority of the book, I can kind of look past a few
Same.
negative things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
No,
easy 5-star for me. Highly
Yeah.
recommend it. One
Yeah.
more time. Tell them what the name of the book is and who it's by.
The Master Craftsman by Kelli Stuart.
Grab it. You won't
Regret
regret it. Yeah. Follow us online. We're on all social media as Bookish Introverts Podcast. We're on a ton of podcast sites. We're on Deezer, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora. You can follow us on Facebook, on Instagram. We have a TikTok presence. Yeah, I have an author page
Wow.
if you want to follow me and my journey as an author. So there's a lot of places where you can reach out to us. If you want to email us, we're at bookishintrovertspodcast@gmail.com.
It's been fun today.
Yeah, it has. It's
Good.
been really
it was a fun book to talk about.
Thanks for coming on. We've got another author interview coming up with Leslie Gold. She's with Bethany House Publishing. She writes Amish books. So we've got an interview coming up with her in the next few weeks. So a lot going on in the podcast. Thank you guys for listening to us. We appreciate it, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Thanks for joining us on the Bookish Introverts Podcast, where together we explore the worlds within the pages. Until next time, stay bookish.